participants to please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. If you do see that there are several questions that are already lined up in the queue, please limit your questions to just one question initially. Feel free to re-raise your hand. If we've got additional time allotted, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. Please ensure that your lines are actively muted unless you are actively asking a question, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedules to join us. We'll be back here momentarily with Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Thank you for your patience.
I get a lot of action from me.
I was not sure.
Once again, for our media participants, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Can you see me?
No, sir, we can't.
I don't know why. I hit videos. It's gray on my screen. I don't know what's going on with it.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Well, if you get it up, no problem. Don't want to delay your time. I know you're busy today, so we'll go ahead and get started. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, it was a good win. Any win in this conference is a good win, and you want to always protect your home, and we was able to do that again. It was homecoming. Bethune came in, and we knew that they was in some tough situation. You know, coming from the hurricane, they had to leave early. I think they stayed in Atlanta and got there like Tuesday or something, and so you know, it was one of the greatest circumstances for their team. You know, having to leave early and have to worry about their family members and if everybody was safe. So I just let Coach know that we was praying for them and we understood their situation. And you know, we just playing a football game and they had some serious issues to deal with and worry about. So we was proud. I was proud of the way we played. We wanted to be able to play, get out and play 4 quarters of football. We played a great second half against Jackson, but we wanted to come out and start and play the whole game that way. And I think that's what we was able to do. We took the ball and we scored, and we played good all 4 quarters in offense, defense, and special teams. So we had a complete game, and I was just proud of our coaches, the game plans, and the way the players executed.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach Maynor.
Good morning, Perry. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm great.
Coach, over 700 yards of total offense. If you could talk about your offensive play.
Offensive play was great, man. Xavier Langford is doing a tremendous job just leading our team, taking what the defense gives us. He's been prepared. He's prepared, and he understands where we want to go with the ball and what the defense is doing, and he's just executing at a high level. And then he's able to use his legs also in certain situations where we can run the quarterback and get an extra guy. And so he's just playing super. The receivers are playing well. The running backs are running. Offensive line is doing a tremendous job in the pass game and in the run game. So we're executing at a high level right now on offense. We need to continue it.
Coach, Xavier Langford accounted for almost 400 of those 700 total yards of offense. Make a case for him to be the offensive SWAC player of the week.
You just did it. But 400 yards, man, in the SWAC is great. I think he had 300-something passing with 3 touchdowns. And then he had almost another 70, I think, rushing with another touchdown. Anytime you can generate 400 yards of total offense and 4 touchdowns, it's going to be hard for you not to be the offensive player of the week. He did throw 1 interception, one bad play. Other than that, and we got him out early too. He didn't play the 4th quarter. So it ain't about the stats with me. It's about when I got one of my good players and I think the game is out of hand, I want to get those guys out because I don't want to get those guys hurt. I want those guys to be able to play another week. Some coaches let their guys just keep playing, but it's not about that with me. I want to get my backup in because my backup is 1 play away from being the starter. So I want to get him a couple of reps and let him throw the ball around a little bit and work on some stuff that he might have to do in the game also. So, but Xavier's playing great.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Maynor, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Ty. How you doing?
I'm good, Coach. A couple of questions. I'll do the follow-up if I have time to, if it allows. The first question, though, I know it's bye week, and it's Alabama State in 2 weeks. So when does preparation start for that?
Well, we're already watching film on them. But with the guys, our first couple of practices will still be on us, correcting our mistakes from last week. We'll do some self-scouting to see where we need to make some changes because, of course, they're going to know everything we're doing and because they're going to scout us. So we need to have a couple of wrinkles. So we'll do some self-scouting and try to break some tendencies and then try to have a couple of wrinkles, new wrinkles to throw in there. And then probably Saturday or Saturday practice, we'll start working on Alabama State.
Andrew, do I have time for more?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Secondly, then, is Alabama State one of those games in which there's always a new wrinkle that you have planned as opposed to what you may do on a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, it is, Ty, mainly because we have a week off. Okay. Anytime you got a week off, you want to try to throw in a new wrinkle or show them something they haven't seen or things of that nature. So, and then also you have a chance to self-scout. And so you want to break some of those tendencies. So, yeah, but it's the classic. It's a big game. It's always a big game. And it's so big that we can't even play the week before. We can't play anybody the week before. That's always got to be our open week. But yeah, those two factors grant that, we need to have something ready.
I also want to ask you about this since it is a bye week and maybe some off the field things can be taken care of. The NCAA just eliminated the National Letter of Intent program. So how will that affect Alabama A&M and other HBCUs going forward, in your opinion?
Well, I would say in the negative that if they sign with us, it's not binding. So they sign with us, and then one of the bigger schools, something happened one of their kids, or their kids go somewhere else. One of their kids go somewhere else. Then they say, you know what? The other kid we was looking at signed with A&M. Let's go back and offer him again. and then they offer him again, and he leaves us. So, Ty, it's, NCAA claims to be for the student athletes and want them to graduate and all about this, but everything they're doing is nothing conducive to graduate. You're letting the guys transfer every year. If a guy transfer 4 times, 5 times, how's he going to graduate? He's not going to graduate on time. But they're about graduating kids. No, they're not. They're about making money.
And speaking of that, Coach, they're also considering a model in which kids can sign a contract, which would be for money. So how devastating would that be?
Well, it just all depends. I think a contract is kind of what you need. Like the national letter of intent, you got to sign for 2 years. You got to sign for 1 year. You got to sign for 3 years, And if we say, hey, we want you to sign for 2 years, kids say, well, I only want to sign for 1. I'll say, I'm moving on then, because I don't want a kid that only want to be here for 1 year. That's telling me already you're not about playing football. You're about trying to see how much money you can make. And so now I can recruit the kind of kid that want to be at A&M, that want to be a part of something instead of somebody just looking for a handout, or what can you do for me, or how much money can I get, or how much stipend can I get, or what about my apartment? Okay, so if he had a contract, he say, okay, I'm signing for 3 years at A&M. I'm signing for 4 years at Clemson. I'm signing for 2 years at Clemson. Now, at least we know we got him for that amount of years.
Okay. Well, thank you, Coach, and good luck on your bye week, and good luck in the Magic City Classic.
Thank you, sir.
Last question goes to Keith Hadley.
Can't hear you, Keith.
Sorry about that, Coach. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. My question is in relation to that question with NIL and the national letter of intent. Do you think college football should go more so to the baseball model, where the students have the binding contracts? I heard you kind of mention that, and you kind of went in that direction. But do you think that's a model that may be able to work for college football, where we see like the students are able to maybe not sign the NFL out of high school, but where they have that binding contract where they have to stay at that school or have to stay in that area for 2 years or more?
I think so, man. I mean, because, in the past, you'd be like, okay, we know we got X amount of freshmen, X amount of sophomores, X amount of juniors that can be back next year. We're losing 12 seniors. So we got to go out and replace these 12 seniors at these positions. Okay, now we go in there, we say, we got 12 seniors, but you got 4 juniors to lead. You got 5 sophomores to lead. You got 3 freshmen to left. Now we replaced 22 guys or 25 guys that you didn't expect, because you thought, okay, we're developing this kid. He's coming along. He's right where we want him to be. He's going to be great for this conference and this university. And now he ups and leaves. So, something need to be done. Something needs to be done. The only thing about it is everybody's in the same boat, and you kind of like get lucky to be to keep your players, and everybody stay the whole time. Now, Dabo Swinney is doing it at Clemson, but Dabo is trying to kind of getting commitments from guys that they're going to be at Clemson. He's not going in the portal. He's going to develop his guys. He's getting guys that want to be at Clemson University for 4 years. He don't have anybody. He might have a couple guys leaving, but not many. And they're committed to Clemson University and not all the other stuff, because Clemson has everything that everybody else has anyway. So why leave every other year for $50,000 more or $100,000 more? So I would love to see something put in place to where these kids would have to stay a little bit longer.
Coach Maynor, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Sir, thank you. All right, next up, we go over to Alabama State and Coach Eddie Robinson. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could just start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's most recent outing at home there versus Mississippi Valley State.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, we played at home against Mississippi Valley, as you said, and Coach Wade had those guys here ready to play, and, we kicked off first, and they ran it all the way back to the 5-yard line, scored a couple plays later. Next drive, we got stopped on the 4th down. They scored again, so we found ourselves down 14-0 at home, and so but proud of the way the guys kind of came back and played hard from there. and just kept working hard. Had some big plays in the passing game. Kareem Key had a couple touchdowns. Robert McMahon was another guy that had some big plays in the passing game. And then the defense played hard. Had an interception by Burgess, his third of the year, and Traquan Thomas, a kid that's like 7 sacks now, tops in the nation. So he had another great game with a couple sacks, couple tackles for loss. So the defense really turned on and played well, and the special teams came on at the end. So it was a good team win at home, especially overcoming adversity. Like I said, Valley started off really fast and kind of caught us off guard just with their enthusiasm and how hard they were playing. So definitely a learning lesson for us from that standpoint. And now we go into the bye week, and like you said earlier, looking forward to the Magic City Classic.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Robinson. Good morning to you. How you doing?
Good morning. How's it going?
Pretty good. In relation to Alabama A&M, Coach Maynor mentioned that they always have something sort of, in the works that you may not have seen on tape for them when it comes to the Magic City Classic. Does the same hold true for you? Does Alabama State often go into something new wrinkles or new style of play when they take on the Bulldogs?
Yeah, I think it's more because of the bye week, and I think he kind of talked about the same thing. Whenever you have a bye week, you're going to self-scout. You're going to look at how we can change something, how we can maybe make a play. But I think for the most part, it's still football, is blocking and tackling. I don't think either team is going to change anything wholesale, but you'll come up with one more deal that maybe you can use it if the situation presents itself.
I'm not sure how much of the NIL conversation you caught about the National Letter of Intent, NLI rather, National Letter of Intent being eliminated by the NCAA. And it seems as if more and more teams on the Power 4 level now are going to the general manager model for managing a football team. Do you see something like that ever taking place in HBCU football?
I think so, because it just becomes complicated from the standpoint you're really worrying about the kids that you have here, and I think one thing people don't realize, we spend a whole lot of time recruiting our own players. Yeah, we have some guys that are playing at a high level, some freshmen playing at a high level, and so with everything that's out there, with the technology, the stuff that you can use as far as watching to see how a kid performs and those type of things. And we know some of the coaches, they come to our games. Like some of the coaches from other schools, they're at the Magic City Classic looking to see who's playing well. And so that's just part of where we are as far as at the level that we play at. So you have to actually recruit and work on having relationships with those kids, because we won't be able to offer, the financial advantages to stay here.
Thank you, Coach. And I'll ask another if time allows. Thanks.
Good.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday. Next question goes to Doc Holliday. We can't hear you, Doc. All right. Go ahead, Ty. You can get your next question in.
Okay, Coach, when it comes to that fourth game that a player can play before he redshirts, does it now become even more trickier with the fact that other teams may be scouting possibly for your players?
Yeah, it's trickier from the standpoint of some of the kids may not want to play in that fifth game. They may only want to play in the fourth game and then come in your office and say, "Hey, Coach, I'm going to redshirt the rest of the year." And so we haven't had that happen, but it's still a possibility, and it's happened with a lot of other bigger schools. So it's something that you're always having in the back of your mind. It's a lot more complicated than when we were playing. Most of the guys are the same age as me. When a coach told you to go play, you went to play. So now I think the players, and they're smart players, and they need to be focused on everything as far as their college careers. But it's a lot more going on in college football than just line up and playing football.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Next question goes to Keith Hadley.
Thank you, Coach. And one of the most compelling parts of the Magic City Classic this year is just your philosophies are different. You're definitely the defensive guy, and Alabama A&M's the offensive team. Could you speak to kind of some of that, how that kind of plays as far as telling the story of the football game, but also how are you going to kind of keep up? Because we've seen at times the quarterback position has been a struggle at times this season. So how do you guys plan to keep it up scoring wise, but also talk about how the story of the football game is going to be told, because you're the defensive guy, he's the offensive guy. How are these two things going to clash in this huge game?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we should sell a lot of tickets to this game, because I think styles makes fights, and it's two different styles. But we both want to win. We both have different philosophies of how to win. Of course, I'm always say start with special teams and great defense. And Coach Maynor being a quarterback guy, he's gonna say, hey, let's score some points. But eventually, I know we have to score points also. So we're not trying to win 2-0. But yeah, it's the differences in philosophy. And like we know, they put up 700 yards last week, and they have a lot of things that they're doing well offensively. The quarterback is talented now; he's really getting his rhythm. Smart guy, strong guy, physical guy, can make the throw. So it'll be a challenge for us defensively to try to keep the game under control. But that's what's going to make it fun. That's why you go out there and play these type of games.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing good. You making the switch from Zach Sims to Kareem Key, where he went 14 to 21, already had 326 yards of passing and 4 touchdowns. What does that mean as far as going forward with your team? Will he be the actual starter for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, right now he's going to take the starting reps. Kid that just came in there with some confidence. I think the quarterback position. I never played quarterback, so I don't know everything about it. But I know from the poise aspect, he showed a lot of poise, a lot of confidence. So that's what we liked about him. And he's an undersized kid. Was very productive at Minor High School in that Birmingham area. So he understands the Mad City Classic. I don't think the moment will be too big for him. But at the same time, Zach is going to come out to practice and compete. And he may still get in the game also. I would expect him to be ready to go if his number's called.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Any final questions? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, we'll pause here momentarily. We'll be back. Coach Thomas here in a few seconds. Thank you for your patience. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time joining us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Grambling State.
I had to get on the road, go about a really good Grambling team. Did a good job early. Offense kind of got some things moving for us, flipped the field and played and really competed at a high level. Kind of left some plays out there and, gave us opportunity to win. Defensively, those guys came and played, with their hair on fire. Malachi Bailey kind of set the tone. We knew Miles Crowley is one of the best players, not just at quarterback, but offensively in the league. So we wanted to kind of just do some things to kind of keep him corralled. And the kicking game, gave us opportunity to be successful. So just an overall win, really good atmosphere, fan base, band, what you come to this conference for. And I thought overall, just to be able to go down there and have play a really good ball club and come out victorious in the manner we did is just, just a testament of everybody that's associated with this great institution and also the players and coaches. And so, really good ball game. Still got some things to work on, but I'm satisfied with coming out of that place with a win.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to talk a little bit about Xavier Vaughn's development. Did he jump in with both feet? Was he, being a transfer and all, he's been very successful, but did he jump in with both feet and kind of take off, or has it been a slow, steady build?
It's been slow and steady. He wasn't a starter coming in at the beginning of the year. And so, he sat back and he was an ultimate team player. We know who Zay is. We recruited him out of Beaumont to come to Pine Bluff with us. So we saw it coming out of high school. It's just transferred now to being older, but he was always, the players coach and also was a really good teammate. So, once he got to him, he's really developed and continued to get timing and really put his teammates in the best position to be successful. And also they put their arm around him and embraced him. And so we still got some things we got to work on, but we like where we are. And we know Xavier is a major component to what we're doing offensively.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Hey, Coach. So for years, this Alcorn State program, this football team, its resilience has been credited to your predecessor. But the way that you all are playing this year shows that it's deeper than one person. Can you talk about the culture of the university that has that never say die Alcorn Brave attitude in it?
Well, just a limited resource doesn't make a limited mindset. And I think that started with the top, with the president, who's a people person. He walks in the cafeteria, he walks the green, walks the grass, and he's just one of the students. He's a people person. And that just trickles down to everybody that's in a leadership role. Even as a coordinator, for me, it was always about being a servant of these young adults. I played in this league, just like some of the other coaches. So it's more than just the football aspect for us. It's always just being able to take what we got and make the best of it and don't make excuses, and being able to go out and fight for jobs and fight for different things that's associated with non-football sector to get that approval, knowing that we are good enough, regardless of how big our buildings are and what our infrastructure look like and how many books we got in the library. It's what we do, with it. And so, and it starts from the top. And so I couldn't be blessed, enough to be associated with not only a great institution, but a great president that has laid the foundation for us.
Congratulations on a big win, Coach.
Appreciate it, sir.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Thomas, how you doing today?
I'm blessed. How about yourself?
Doing good. Tell everybody what did you tell your team prior into going into Grambling, and what were some of the adjustments that you made at halftime and you told your team at halftime in order for you to get this pivotal win against Grambling?
The first thing for us was to get there on Friday. I've lost in that place, man, a lot of times, but we never walked. We never walked the field, that Friday. And if you've been there, like a lot of people that's on, it's different, going down that hill and up that hill. So the biggest thing I wanted to do with this group was, hey, let's get there early. Just kind of see what it looked like, the timing from the locker room to the field. And so I thought that kind of really just helped the guys kind of set the stage for, the transition between halftime and even pregame. And, at halftime for us, it was just, we got to play our brand of football. We knew we left some plays out there. And, we knew, Coach Joseph was going to have those guys chomping at the bits. And you see, they made a really good valiant run at the end. And so we couldn't get caught up in external forces. We just had to settle down, play our brand of football. And so, and I thought that really just helped us, coming out of there being successful.
And my next question, Malachi Bailey, why I watched the game, he looked like he played with his hair on fire. Tell me how he is as being the leader of your defense.
Better yet, leader one of the leaders of the institution. My wife worked in student services. If she need anything done, she called it Malachi. Whether moving chairs, desks, or just, bringing kids around the campus and showing them buildings. He's everything for us. Kind of banged up, all year, but man, he fight through it. And then it's just one of them games where he just knew he had to take over, and he did so. And so he really just, opened the floodgates for not only his teammates, but, even offensively, giving us opportunity to be successful. He's forever dear to my heart.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Stephen Robinson.
Good morning, Coach T. How you doing?
And I'm blessed. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing well. Thank you. Congratulations on your big win this past weekend, but I wanted to deviate a little from football and the X's and O's, and maybe just get your thoughts on the passing of Coach Bo Cox, former Eastside head coach. I wasn't too sure if he coached you in high school, but I know you're well aware of his legacy and what is meant to the Eastside program. But if you wouldn't mind just commenting on Coach Bo Cox and what he's meant perhaps to you and just the Eastside program as a whole.
Yeah, I just posted something the other day. That was my coach. He raised me. Him and my pops, man, sat up under the carport and, had a lot of fun. They was classmates. And so Coach was dear to me. I wouldn't be in the profession without him. I'm undersized now, but you can just imagine me being 7th, 8th grade trying to go out for junior high school ball. And he gave me an opportunity, but he also gave me opportunity with his son, Tyrus Cox, to come over and play the game and, fellowship and cook food for us and spend the night over to his house. And so, we lost a good one. We lost a good one. And so, shout out to his family. We got prayers for him. I'm going to get down and get a chance to get to the wake. Don't know if I'll make the funeral, man. Coach Cox meant a lot to me. And, he's definitely one of the components and pillars of why I'm in this profession.
And a follow-up question, Coach. Being 3-0, what does that mean to you to be undefeated right now in the SWAC? Do you put any weight into that where you stand right now?
No, it ain't nothing. Steve, it used to be don't make no honey. The only thing that matters now is Southern. We got a good ball club. We got to get prepared for. And our whole, mantra in the building is 11, 12, 23. And that was a Texas Southern game last year. So the guys understand what's the magnitude of what we got going on. And the only thing that matters is one we got coming up Saturday.
Thank you, Coach. Wish you well this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Yeah, Coach, give me your thoughts on Southern and what you see as the biggest challenge facing when you're going against them.
Well, they take the temperament of their coach. A couple games they've been down and battle back, won't quit. But that's Coach Graves. All the way from Mississippi Valley, we got a really good relationship. They just take on the temperament of the head coach. They're gonna fight for 4 quarters. You're gonna have to literally bury them. Athletic at the quarterback. Both of those guys. It gives you matchup problems anytime you got to see 2 quarterbacks. You see Quay Davis. He's been in this league a long time. Catch the touchdown pass to get him to overtime. Got the preseason, if not the best player, on the defensive line besides Malachi Bailey to me. And so we got to do a good job of, finding out where he is from a protection standpoint. But just a good overall ball club that's tough, that's battle tested and led well. And so we got our hands full. If we walk in the Baton Rouge thinking, about what we did the week before, we'll come out of there very disappointed.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Last question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, having to go on the road 2 weeks in a row in conference play to the state of Louisiana, can you talk about that aspect of this point in your SWAC schedule?
Yeah, the biggest thing, you get a chance to pop in and see some recruits. That's the biggest thing. We got a chance to see some really good football on Friday. Coaches was able to get out, and we'll do the same thing in the Baton Rouge area. That's the biggest thing, is be able to get in there and kind of mix it up from a recruiting standpoint, because we got some kids from Louisiana that's playing on a high level for us. We know what that area looks like. Got some coaches on the staff, from the state also. So that's the biggest thing, is being able to get in there and mix it up, see some familiar faces, fellowship with some coaches, but get a really good bead on some good product that's over there from a recruiting standpoint. And then, we always tell them, regardless of where we go, the football field is 100 yards long and 53 yards in the third and width. And so regardless of what environment we go in, we got to play our brand of ball to give ourselves opportunity to be successful.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Next, we go over to Bethune-Cookman. Coach Woodie, once again, if you do have any questions, we ask that you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. That being said, happy to be joined by Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you take some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Alabama A&M.
Well, I tell you what, Coach Maynor, he had those guys ready to play. Obviously, we had some a little adversity along the way, but that's life. They opened up, first drive, had 9-play drive, had 2 opportunities to get off the field on the third and didn't capitalize, gave up an explosive pass that should have been a pick. And we, obviously we didn't fit our gaps, and we missed tackles. Offense, opening drive, multiple first downs that, starting near plus territory due to penalties. And our third drive at 10 plays, touchdown on the ransom run, made it 14-6. Defense, we got to stop on third down, extended because of a PI, 21-6. Turnover on special teams, 28-6. Then offense scores out of half, called back due to a penalty. So, I mean, we obviously it wasn't the team that we thought it was going to be as far as us to Alabama A&M. I mean, we knew they were going to be ready to go with their homecoming, and hats off to Coach Maynor. You know, he had those guys ready to play, and we came up short.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning.
Got an interesting stat here. You gave up 700 yards of total offense, which 330 of it was for running the ball. What are you trying to? How will you motivate your guys to try to basically try to stop the run for your next opponent and going so far down the line?
Well, you know, the obvious key is obviously stopping the run, and we didn't do that, but they watched film, they saw it, and understand what they need to do. We just have to do it, and I always talk about technique, fundamentals, attention to detail, execution of the play, and those aspects. You know, we have to keep preaching and letting these guys see that it's something that we have to get done. Because if we don't, then obviously we put that on film, and people feel like they can run at will. But, you know, obviously they wasn't the team that we are used to, and we just got to get better.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Hey, Coach, there's a football coach's saying that is often attributed to Bill Walsh, and that is that a football program goes through 3 stages. One, first, every time you step on the field, you hope you can win. Second stage is every time you step on the field, you think you can win. And the third stage is every time you step on the field, your team expects to win. If that statement is true, where would you say your program is in the second year of your tenure there at Bethune-Cookman?
Well, you know, they're still understanding on how to win, but I really feel like our coaches do a good job preparing the players. Obviously, this week was really tough, you know, with several guys on offense, defense that was affected, you know, by the hurricane. But, you know, you have to block those things out. And just to answer your question, I mean, we feel like every game we play, we expect to win because we have coaches that's preparing, you know, and I always say fell into preparing to fail. And I feel like we prepared them, but obviously execution wasn't there on the field, but we're bounced back.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Keith Hadley.
How's it going there, Coach?
Going great.
So being here in Central Florida, we all were dealing with the hurricane last week, and you know the winds were kind of high. Fortunately, you guys got to get away a little bit. But could you speak to having these back-to-back away games, especially this isn't your first time. You notice a couple times on your schedule this year where Bethune-Cookman is playing back-to-back away games. How does that affect your players as far as preparation and just the overall kind of toll it takes on them traveling from Daytona to some of these different areas?
Well, we have to do it. Blame no one, make no excuses. You know, we got to get it done. I mean, obviously, that's why you sign up for it. I mean, no matter what the case may be, you know, you have to present it and get through it. And, you know, it's just the most important game because it's the next game on our schedule, whether it's home or away.
Currently taking questions for Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. Any final questions for Coach?
Can y'all see me? Because I can't see you guys. I'm in a hotel now with my team.
No, we couldn't see you, Coach, but we did. Your audio is good. We just couldn't see your camera.
Yeah, I'm having issues with that.
Sure. Well, Coach, thank you so much, as always, for your time, and we'll be looking forward to speaking with you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are a few minutes ahead of schedule. In return, we'll be joined by Coach Colsey with Florida A&M. Thank you for your patience.
Quick, por favor.
All right, once again, for all of our media participants, we ask you do have any questions for our head coaches that you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. If you do see that there are lots of several questions already in the queue, please limit your questions to one initial question. If we got additional time, we will work our way back around to get additional questions answered. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Coles of Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How you doing?
You're doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, obviously this past week, no game for the Rattlers, but if you could just kind of start us out, just kind of assessing this past bye week for your program.
Well, another big bye week for us, giving us an opportunity to get ourselves completely healthy. Also use this past week to do some recruiting. So had the opportunity to hit the Mississippi JUCOs, the Texas JUCOs, and then head down to South Florida. But we had 2 weeks of practice last week, Tuesday and Wednesday, used them wisely, and then had a great practice last night. So, but obviously getting ready for a very, very important football game this upcoming Saturday against Jackson State.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Hey, Doc. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing good. This is a pivotal matchup against two of the top teams in the SWAC. Most people say that this is the de facto SWAC championship, but we know there's more football to be played. How are you preparing your team to go into this game, especially coming into the vet this Saturday?
Well, I mean, we'll prepare. I'll go from the end of your question to the beginning. We're going to prepare, and we'll use our usual fan music and crowd noise to get ourselves ready. Obviously expecting a packed out stadium. Obviously, when you have to go on the road, There's two things you got to make sure that you take care of. You got to take care of the football, and you got to be able to stop the run. So, those are two things that we've been discussing all year, not just this week. But you got a really, really good football team that we're getting ready to have to go play, and if we don't play our best, we could be in a really, really tough situation.
And my second question is, your team is known more for second half adjustments, especially when you're down. I wouldn't say big, but when you're down to the opponent, you tend to come alive in the second half. How you want to tell your team to try to say, instead of waiting for the second half to come, we have to play all 4 quarters?
Well, I put the numbers in front of them, right? Jackson State in the first quarter has scored 65 points in the first quarter, where our team, we've only scored 23. Jackson State's done a really, really good job of using all facets of the game, offensively, defensively, and special teams, to jump on teams early. So you let Jackson State get ahead, and you let that crowd kind of get into the football game. You know what I mean? You could be in a tight spot. Well, for us, practice-wise, we're going to incorporate some things earlier in practice just to make sure we're taking care of our starting off. But ultimately, man, it's going to be about for me, anything early momentum-wise that we have that we take care of. Anytime you go into a home crowd similar to that, you got to be able to weather the storm. They're going to make some plays. We're going to make some plays. But if we can do a good job of starting off, I like our chances as we continue to go into the second, third, and fourth quarter. But, Jackson State's a really, really good football team. They do some really, really good things offensively, defensively, and special teams, right? So, we're going to have to eliminate maybe that early turnover, eliminate that early big run or big pass that they've had, throughout the season.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Great questions, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Perry. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. Hey, Coach, everything's going to have to be working when you take on these Jackson State Tigers. They've bullied other SWAC opponents up front, and they've got playmakers on the edges. Your thoughts regarding that on this team?
Well, I think that's what they've been known for, right? They've been extremely skilled on the edges, and that have when we looked at their football team, we thought offensively and defensive line-wise, they're similar to teams that they've had in the past, right? The names have changed a little bit, but they're still extremely skilled on those positions, right? So I think we're in that same boat. I like our chances with our receivers. I like that we have that veteran offensive line that that's what they're built for this type of setting. The veterans that we have on this football team, that's what we're built for this type of setting. But when I look at this football game, and when I look to the end of it, I was telling our football team last night, it's going to be 1A and 1B. 1A is going to be what team leads in rushing, and then 1B was going to be the team that determined the turnover margin. So those are the two things that I'm going to be looking for. If we do a good job turnover margin-wise and do a good job of rushing for more yards than they do, I think we're in a really, really good spot. But if we don't, right, again, we have a crucial turnover, or we're not able to run the football and keep that offense off the field, it could be a long afternoon for us.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Keith Hadley.
Hello again, Coach. So my question is, and you mentioned the run game there. Are we going to see a little more of our tight end play? I've noticed the last couple of weeks, seen a little less of the tight ends, but it's kind of start early in the season. We saw a little more of them, and they seem to be great assets blocking as well as catching the ball.
Well, that's the thing for us that we really, really like about them, right? Those are guys that, when you come into the game, you have some teams where when they come in with their tight ends, the numbers say that they're going to run the football, right? They're going to run the football a little bit more with some of those people that they put into the game. Well, for us, we can kind of use that as an advantage where those two guys do, 2 or 3 guys do a great job of blocking, but also do an amazing job of catching the football. So, you got Pruitt, you got Carter Johnson, you got, Kobe Gross. Those are guys that can do both, right? So, earlier in the year, we were able to get the ball to those people, and, obviously defenses watch film. So they've done a good job of maybe taking away those guys over the last couple of weeks. But, we've instituted a plan to be able to allow them to get a little bit loose, get some balls to them, but while our tight end play might not necessarily have been where it's been the last couple of weeks, our receivers done a really, really good job of stepping up as well. So, our base offense is to be 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back, and that allows us to have some balance as far as what we do offensively, running and passing the football. But for us to have the success that we need to have Saturday, we got to involve our running back, we got to involve our wide receivers, we got to involve our tight end. So, we're gonna be well balanced, once we get up there Saturday.
Currently taking questions for Coach Colsey with Florida A&M. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
I appreciate you guys, and good luck to everyone the rest of this week.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're a few minutes ahead of schedule. Next up, we'll be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. We'll pause momentarily. Thank you for your patience. We are working to get connected with Coach Joseph Grambling State. Once we do get him connected to our Zoom session, we'll have him available to answer some questions. So with that being said, we appreciate your patience as we work to connect with Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Thank you for your patience. We'll be back momentarily. Once again, for all of our media participants that have questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, we'll next be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State University. All right, I believe that we have Coach connected. Coach Joseph, can you hear us? All right, we're going to continue to work to get Coach Joseph's audio and video connected.
Recording in progress.
Sorry, I had a little technical problems.
Oh, no problem, Coach. Appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alcorn State.
Well, we're back again. Came up short. Another 2-point loss. Kids played hard. They played to the end. Got to do a better job of getting them. I got to do a better job of getting them to finish in games like that, because every game's going to be like that. And like I told them before, we can't put it on other people. We can't leave it in other folks' hands. We got to take ownership, and we got to start the game, and we got to finish it. And I got to do a better job as a head coach to get that done.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. Tanner Spearman from the Pine Bluff Commercial. We got two of the best quarterbacks in the SWAC going at it in this upcoming game with Miles Crawley and obviously Mekhi Higgins from UAPB. What do you want to see from Miles in this game, and what do you need to see from your defense against Mekhi Higgins?
Well, I'd like to see Miles be more consistent, with his reads. I would like to see Miles step up in the pocket and, know what he's getting on the back end. So he understands that. We had a meeting about that yesterday, about what he needs to improve at to make us a better football team. And, I'm looking for the defense. We got to play Grambling State football. We got to play good defense on this kid. This kid's got a really strong arm. He's mobile enough where he can get out of your pressures if you send some pressure at him. We gotta really stay in our rush lanes with him also. But we gotta have eye discipline with this kid, because this kid can really spin it. He's got some big time receivers, and we got our work cut out for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. In a tale of two halves for this game. Get my notes right here. As far as rushing the ball, you ran the ball pretty well, close to 4 yards per carry, but the 2 turnovers kind of hurt you. What is the things you want to try to get the team to understand as far as keeping the ball, making sure not to fumble or throw interceptions and stuff like that? It just try to make sure you play an even kill and clean game.
Yeah, we always try to, talk to them about keeping the game clean and making sure that we take care of the football. And we emphasize that, we have, Wednesdays, we that's our emphasis on practices, takeaway and no turnover Wednesday. So we had to do a better job. But we also, when we get in the red zone, you're not going to win any conference in America kicking field goals. When you get in the red zone, you got to score touchdowns, and we didn't do that. So we got to do a better job this week when we get in the red zone to do what we've normally been doing, scoring touchdowns. So that's something that we need to fix.
And the final drive for Alcorn, which led them to kick the game-winning field goal, what was the thing you want to try to get the defense to try to do in that last drive?
Well, we need Blake to catch that pick and end the game. Then we also, the kid's very athletic, the quarterback. We had 3 people there. We got to get him down, keep him out of field, keep him range, because we thought we kept him back there. The kid was going to be a little shaky, but once he got it to about the 22-yard line, it was a chip shot for him. But we got to do a better job when we rushing our lanes when we play these quarterbacks, because all these quarterbacks in this conference can pull it down and they can run it. So we got to understand in the red zone, he's not back there to throw it. He's back there to pull it down and run it. And we had to have a better understanding about that.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry.
Hey, Coach. Some hard coaching on the sideline Saturday. As you are establishing the Coach Joseph era there at Grambling, is it now time? There's one saying that says not to lighten up, but tighten up. And then there's another philosophy of reminding players and coaches why they were chosen to represent that historical G. Which philosophy will you take this week going forward?
Well, we got the first one. We got to tighten things up around here. We got, we're in the game. We're in the game. So we got to do a better job in all 3 phases of the game. Starting with the offense. We got to get that offensive line to get us to get Miles some protection. Then we got to get Miles reading the ball. We got to get him read the concepts. So we got to get that done. And on defense, we got to stop the run. We can't let them 60 plus yard runs. We can't do that. Special teams, the call comes from the sideline. You got to play the call. We got a kid that, comes from the sideline. He don't go on a rush. And if he goes on a rush, he's going to block the punt. But, that's things I got to fix, and that's it. But, but easing up on them, I'm never going to do that, because I always say this, when you get fired, those jokers are still here. So they're going to feel me every day. They're going to feel my passion every day, because that's the only way you can get them to do it, because with this generation, they're not passionate about nothing, so you got to stay on them like this, because, that's how you get them to be passionate by staying on them about it. But, we're going to tighten things up, fix things up around here. And, like you said, we represent Grambling, and we understand that. I think, the new fellas didn't understand it when they got here, but now they do.
And Coach, for the 3rd week in a row, your program is playing in what is considered a big conference game with Alabama, with University of Arkansas Pine Bluff winning this past week. Talk about this upcoming game.
Well, it's the most important one because it's the one on the schedule, and it's a big time team. The team looks against PV on Friday night. We got to watch a little bit of it. They're very explosive on offense, and they play good defense. They play really good defense. So we got to get ready for these games. And like I told them after the game, all these games gonna be like this. All these games gonna be tight. All these games gonna come down to the wire. But like we said before, you got to start something, you got to finish it. But along the way, you're gonna have the struggles, and it's how you deal with the struggles. You're gonna deal with it. Are you gonna let this one play beat you twice, or you gonna say, hey, shake it off and make sure you do the same mistake the next time that thing's on your plate? So. Yes, a big time game, and and that's just this conference. Every game is going to be competitive.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you,
Coach. As always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right.
Next up, we go over to Arkansas Pine Bluff and Coach Alonzo Hampton. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please Utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. And please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Prairie View A&M.
Obviously, we had a big win this past Friday. The kids played hard, offense, defense, special teams. You know, Prairie View came in. Like I said, it was just a good football game for us. You know, we've been close in a lot of games, and obviously to be able to start the game, we didn't start it the right way, got down 8-0 early, but our kids never flinched. And I tell everybody, we got a lot of babies over here, man. So they're continuing to grow up, and I have a belief that they can win. So it was good for us to be able to finally, I've been saying, and people keep saying I'm crazy, but I just think we have opportunity to win every game. So it was good for us to get the win. Now we just got to get ready for the next game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. Obviously, two of the best quarterbacks in the SWAC are going to go at it this week with Mackay and Grambling Miles Crawley. We've seen Mackay be pretty consistent. What do you need to see from your defense against Crawley to keep him in check?
All we got to do is just be who we are. Line up in the gaps, play your assignment, rally to the football. Obviously, Miles is a good quarterback. Every quarterback in this league is good. So we just need to do our jobs. If we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance to win the football game.
And Coach, Grambling, we've seen them win some big games, but they're 0-2 at conference play. So you expect they're going to have a certain level of urgency or desperation this week. What do you need to tell your players to have them come out and match that level of intensity on the field?
Hey, Coach, everybody's, you know, it's a big game. So I'm not worried about their record. They're not worried about our record. You gotta put the pads on. It's their homecoming. They're fired up. They're ready to go. Our guys need to be fired up, ready to go. We're desperate. We only won 2 games. So, I mean, I'm not worried about them being 0-2. So at the end of the day, we got to scrap up. They got to scrap up. And like I said, it's going to be a great environment to go down there. I never played in that stadium. Being graduating from NLU, which is University of Louisiana Monroe. Grambling is one of those schools that you just, hey, man, that's a special place. So I'm excited about taking this football team down there, our team, to go compete against some really good players and coaches.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, you have been telling us for a while that your team was close and that they were really talented. We were able to see that this past week in your contest against Prairie View. Let's talk about your St. Louis, Missouri-born quarterback, Mackay Higgins, Coach. He is special. Talk about him, please, sir.
What you want me to say? He's special. No, all jokes aside, the young man is a special football player. He's cool as other side of the fan. He doesn't panic. You know, you can send 7, 8 guys at him. He wants the ball in his hand. And I'm excited for him because of the growth that he's made, the maturity that he's showing. He doesn't get rattled. You know, obviously last year wasn't what any of us expected. And, you know, a lot of people just gave up on it. And I called him in at the end of the season when everybody was jumping in the portal. I said, man, listen here. I said, I know being a former coach in this league, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have anything. And I told him this. I said, I believe in you. And I said, if you stay here, I'm going to go find an offensive coordinator that's going to believe in you and going to put you in the best position to win. And obviously, I was able to hire Tony Hull. He's like a brother to me. We worked together 2 years at University of Louisiana Monroe. One of the smartest dudes I've ever been around, and matched him and Mackay together. Man, those guys, they've just really done a good job. And Mackay's continue to grow every single day. I watched him in practice yesterday. Just, man, he don't say a lot. He knows where the ball needs to be. And so I'm happy for him. He's getting ready, you know, to graduate. He's leading the football team, doing all the right things. And so I'm happy for him that he's been able to take that next step in his journey. And like I said, this league has a lot of great quarterbacks. And it's good to see because people need to be able to see HBCUs on that stage. And we got some really good players, really good coaches in this league. So I'm happy for him, happy for our conference, because like I said, man, all these quarterbacks, they offer something different and they all can get it done. And so we're just thankful to be able to coach Makai and have him on our team.
And Coach, Giovanni Gibson, 9 catches for 183 yards and a touchdown. If you could speak to a case for him to be Offensive Player of the Week.
Oh, I mean, they're doubling him, they're tripling him. It don't really matter what you do to him. He's a football player, and football players make plays. And obviously, if you can see some of the stuff people are doing to him and then just watch him, he's highly competitive. 9 catches for 180-some yards. I mean, obviously, you have some players that have good numbers as well. I don't know how he could not be least offensive player of the week. People they picked us dead last. But again, and that I'm fine with being picked dead last, but that's why you play the game, right? You got to go out and play. The guys that we got on this football team, they're young guys, don't have a lot of experience, but Giovanni has grown up every single day. You watch him work in practice. It's just amazing to be around. He thinks he's the best. He works like he's the best. And, he came from a D2 school. And his running mate, number 2, Giovanni Gibson. I mean, what's my man's name? Christian Gamage, the other receiver, had like 70 yards. Those guys played on the same team at a D2 school last year, but they can flat out play. And I'm going to say it again. We got a couple more you haven't even seen yet. If we can get them healthy, like I said, I think our offense is going to continue to grow. Coach Hull and his offensive staff is doing a good job. And on defense, man, we just got to do our job. We do that, we'll have a chance to compete in every game.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning. Doing great.
All right. Big win for your program this past Friday. You held Prairie View to 97 yards rushing. As far as your defense, you gave up you created 1 turnover, but the best thing about your team for this past weekend is that you didn't have any turnovers overall. Tell us about how, as far as with the offense, just getting jump started, and then with the defense trying to basically keep up the pressure against Prairie View.
Well, we've been able to take care of the football in every game offensively. I think Makai may have 2 interceptions on the year, threw 1 against Alcorn. He would like to have back, but he takes care of the football. We don't really put the ball on the ground a lot, but Grambling does a good job. I think they're leading maybe in the top 5 in the country. Interception, turnover margin, they're getting them at a high rate. So we got to be very conscious of what we're doing in traffic. Got to cradle the football, things of that nature, and that's a good football team over there. Defensively, we just got to continue to find a way to get some takeaways, and strip at the ball. First guy makes a tackle, next guy come in, type of deal. And I say it again, man, when you got so many young guys, the way we do on defense is playing, sometimes just getting them in the right spot is the hard part. And then so now you ask them to continue to find a way to punch at the ball, and we continue to show cut-ups. When we got some takeaway attempts, guys need to take those opportunities to give us a better chance to win the game. And so we'll continue to work on those things. And like I said, if we can take care of the football and get a couple of takeaways, whoever wins the turnover margin, and you be able to run the football, you'll have a chance to win the game in this league. And so we just got to continue to work and focus on ourselves. And like I said, one day at a time and see where we end up at.
And my second question, you had Giovanni. They played man, they played zone. Looked like they bracketed him the whole game, and he still came out with 9 catches, 183 yards, and 1 touchdown. Man, tell us just how special Giovanni is, and basically how special you getting Tony Hull as your offensive coordinator for your team.
Well, like I said, Tony Hull is when I was interviewing for this job as the head coach, I was in my office at Monroe, my alma mater, and I walked around and told Tony, I said, Tony, man, I'm about to interview for this job. And I said, man, God told me I'm gonna get the job. I said, I need you to come with me. And we laughed about it. Not really laughed about it because I was dead serious. But at nighttime, I should go in my office and it would be like two people left in the building, me and Tony Hull. Tony Hull was in his office. He'd be making cut-ups because he was preparing himself to get a bigger opportunity as well. And so, man, we talked about this moment. And obviously, you know, our aspiration was to be Power 5 coaches. So we both been Power 5 coaches before. He was at Kansas with Les Miles as the associate head coach. And I was at, I was at Oregon. I was at Florida State. I was at University of South Florida. So we know what it looks like. And so we've always talked about working together. But, you know, God got a way of connecting people. And then, you know, obviously we didn't know it would be here. But I knew when I interviewed for the job, if I got it and he didn't get what he wanted, that was the first guy I wanted to be able to hire. And I didn't get a chance to hire him. He went down to Grambling as the OC. And I'll say this. I mean, I hate, you know, what happened to him there. But I'm kind of glad because I got him here with me.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach. And keep dancing if y'all get another win.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate those comments and all of your questions there for our media. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Next up, we go to Mississippi Valley State and Coach Kendrick Wade. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama State.
Yes, sir. So we went down to Alabama State, man. We walked in there feeling really good. We were very confident going into that game because of the preparation we had. I think we had our best week of preparation since I've been here going into that game. We wanted to start fast, and we did. We just didn't finish strong. You know, every game we played, we've been behind. So we wanted to create some adversity for the opposing team, and we did. You know, but that's why Eddie Robinson is one of the better coaches in this conference. And, you know, he always have a championship caliber team. They kept their head down, they kept playing. I think we started to look at the scoreboard a little bit. You know, we was in an unfamiliar situation just being up. So I was up and down the sideline when we were up 14-0, just telling guys, you know, one play at a time, because I sensed that we started to look at the scoreboard a little bit. And like I said, we just didn't finish strong. But we've turned our attention to Bethune-Cookman, who will be rolling in this week. They hadn't won a game. We hadn't won a game. So I think it's going to be a really good game this weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Stephen Robinson.
Good morning to you, Coach Wade.
Stephen, my man, good morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wanted to deviate away from football, X's and O's, and just get your thoughts on the passing of Bo Cox. I know he's a staple in your hometown of the Cleveland area. I wasn't too sure if he coached you at all. But if you could just kind of reflect on maybe what he's meant to the community of Cleveland and his legacy that he leaves behind.
Yeah, I didn't get an opportunity to play for Coach Cox, but trust me, I mean, he was well known, well respected. You know, when Coach Cox was the head coach over at Eastside, I had moved to Memphis during that time, so I didn't get the opportunity to play for him. But, man, he's well respected. I know who he is. I knew of him, you know, didn't get an opportunity to play for him, but I knew of him, and he's well respected, and he's a legend. He's a legend in Cleveland. He'll forever be a legend in Cleveland, and we all forever grateful for Coach Cox and what he did for the Cleveland community.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Wade, how you doing today?
Doc, good morning.
All right, man. You, like you said, you jumped out to a pretty good lead on Alabama State, and then you said that you started looking at the scoreboard kind of early, and that's when the floodgates kind of opened up for Alabama State. What are some things you want to try to get fixed for this upcoming game against Bethune-Cookman?
Well, just first and foremost, I think it was a great experience. I know the record is going to indicate a loss for this game, but I think it was a learning lesson. You know, like I said, it was unfamiliar for our guys to be up And I think we're going to be better moving forward because of it, you know. So the message is what it's always been, just one play at a time. Don't look at the scoreboard, whether we up or down, just kind of have that independent mindset of each individual play, just kind of just, you know, being the best version of yourself each and every play. So that, I mean, the message have been consistent, but you need that experience. You know, we can talk about it all day, but again, these kids need to go through that. So like I said, it was a great learning experience for our kids to be up, and how do you deal with that now moving forward? I think we'll be better suited moving forward, because we'll be up on somebody else again moving forward. And again, I think we're going to handle the situation a little bit better and understand the importance of just playing each play, each individual play, one play at a time for 60 minutes.
And my second question, you got Jackson Davis back in the fold. Tell me how it felt to have him in the lineup again.
Yeah, man, I think Jackson Davis is one of the best player. I mean, I wouldn't trade him for anybody in the conference. I think he's one of the best players in the conference and in the country. He's a big time player. He's long, he's athletic. Huge ball radius. I mean, he can catch everything that come nearby him. I mean, he have hands the size of a catcher's mitt. So he's really good. You know, he provide value on the perimeter as well in the run game. So we was able to do some things with him, and we're excited to have him moving forward.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Stephen, did you have another question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If I had time, I was going to follow up, Coach, with this weekend being homecoming for you. How do you balance with 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-olds, the distractions that come with that? I'm sure you still want to enjoy the festivities that are around, and also realizing there's business at hand, a game to be played on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, actually, we don't want them to enjoy the festivities. The festivities are not for them. You know, that's for everybody else. So again, our focus is to go out there and prepare the way we prepare each and every other game. So homecoming is not for us. It's not for the players. It's not for the coaches. It's for everybody else. You know, it's a better homecoming experience for everybody when we go out and we do what we're supposed to. So our main focus is what it's been, keeping the main thing, which is going out there, preparing the right way each and every day, and going out there, putting on a good showing on Saturday afternoon. And that makes it better for everybody on Saturday night, you know. So our focus is football. And I understand all the things that come with it, especially at HBCU. So we addressed it yesterday. I'm going to continue to address it. And, you know, it's going to be up to them, though. We can tell them what to do and how to do it, but it's got to be up to those guys to decide what's the most important thing. Do you want to go out there and enjoy festivities and go out there and lose, or do you want to prepare the right way, go out there, win a game, and enjoy everything that comes with it afterwards?
And a follow-up, if I have time, Coach, in terms of Bethune-Cookman, you had touched on them being winless as well. Again, 18, 19-year-olds, they look at records, I'm sure. Is that something that you don't want them to perhaps buy into a team winless? Because sometimes maybe players get caught up more so in a team's record as opposed to what a team can do.
I don't know what they're thinking, but I know the way we prepare for every opponent, we show everybody a record. We show our record versus the opponent. We show the last time we beat this opponent. But it's the same way every time. So we don't change anything. If they was coming in 6-0 or 0-6, it doesn't matter for us. So we try to be consistent with our approach. Again, that's up to each individual. We hope that they are not looking at it because we never focus on it. So we hope that they continue to focus on the things that we like to focus on, which is our preparation, giving respect to each opponent. And I mean, we 0-6, so I don't think we're in a position to look at anybody to, you know, say that we're better than the team. You know, this is a team that beat us last year. So this is a team 0-6, we're 0-6. So if we were 6-0, I think that it'll be more just relevance to this question, but we're 0-6 as well. So I don't think we're in a position to be able to go out and look at any opponent and try to overlook anybody, you know. So I think we'll be focused and locked in on what's important, which is going out there preparing the right way.
All right. Thank you, Coach, and wish you well this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Prairie View A&M. Coach McDowell. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah, going in throughout the week, again, felt pretty good for preparation. Getting ready for Pine Bluff, getting down there, long trip down there, and still felt pretty good. Got the guys moving around a little bit, and then of course going into the game time, thought we had a good game plan anyway. And then we got into the game, and as I knew, as I told them all week, don't count these guys lightly, don't count them out. They're a good football team. They got good coaches over there, and they got dang good players over there. So we got to go out, and play Prairie View football. And again, when I say Prairie View football, we got to understand that we have to make less mistakes as our opponent did in order for us to win a game. We got to be better than our opponent for us to win the game. Again, hats off to Coach Hampton, his staff, man, did a heck of a job of keeping those young men, playing for 4 quarters of football, and that's what we didn't do. Again, even though the score was, where we thought it shouldn't have been, we shut them down in the second half, but again, we just couldn't do anything offensively to score in that second half, man, and get in the end zone. Once again, moving the ball, self-inflicted wounds. Two downs where we had to in position to get a first down, driving, and then we snap was bad twice. Again, and took us out of range to possibly get a first down. So, we again, it always come down to us. Self-inflicted wounds. Doing things that again we hadn't taught these young men, and Coach Ham said again, we got to be able to. We as coaches got to be able to put our best guys athletes in position to make plays. And I thought we didn't do that the second half. I thought they did that very well second half. We knew going into this game who we needed to stop. And of course, again, we didn't do it. The dude ended up, with 183 some yards. And again, we knew who he was, and we should have did a lot more. Again, covering him up, in that man-to-man, should have, had more help over him, and have someone to beat you. Again, football, as you guys know, is all about, putting your guys, your athletes in position to make plays and trusting that they're gonna get it done. But again, we didn't do that. Again, like I said, although we came out played better second half defensively, offensively, we didn't get it done.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach McDowell, how you doing today?
I'm good, Doc. I'm good, man.
All right. You pretty much won everything as far as first downs, time of possession, and kind of yardage. But as far as having that as a winning formula, that didn't come to play. What are the things you want to try to tell your team to make sure that you can execute on some of the things for the next game coming up?
Again, I mean, that's a great thing about having a bye week. Now we get a chance, Doc, to work on those type of deals that we didn't execute. And again, as I told him today, again, it just came back to us not executing the assignment that was given to them. And when they don't do it, when we ask them to do it that way, bad things happen. And again, that's offensively and defensively, and sometimes special teams as well. And again, these young men have to be able to figure out, that they got to go in again, as I keep reiterating, do their job. And again, if we do our job, and not help the other opponent, with self-inflicted wounds or self-inflicted plays that again that we should be able to execute if given a chance, we should be pretty darn good. But man, if you don't do that, don't do it the way coaches ask you to do, bad things happen. Again, especially that's good. And I keep saying over and over every year, guys. We're in the SWAC, SWAC West or SWAC East. It doesn't matter, man. You got to come play every week, in and out, because you just never know, what that team has in store for you, mentally, physically, and again, we had Makai again, tackle in that backfield, and somehow he just got out of it, and made some plays, and that's what good. athletes do. And again, we got athletes that can do that, but again, we have yet to do that consistent.
And my second question is, going up against one of the best receivers in the SWAC and Giovanni Gibson, I seen where you had him mostly in man, and then you went into some zone, went into some brackets. What was the thing you were trying to do to try to make sure you could limit him from the catches, but and from the explosive plays from him?
Well, again, just trying to get up in his face early, and just kind of slow him down, and then hoping, with the blitz that, our guys can, front guys can get to Mekhi, and force him to do things that he normally wouldn't do, or just, more importantly, didn't have a chance to get the ball to him. We knew they was going to him. We should have bracketed more. We didn't do a whole lot of bracketing. We did a couple 4. But again, we didn't have a chance to really bracket him the way that well, I ain't gonna say we didn't have a chance. We just said we didn't do it, which we should have done that more. And, kept one high, again, find out where, I always tell my safeties, find out where that top dude is, that they're number one guy. You got to lean that way. And so again, we knew coming into this game, been talking about this guy all week long, trying to let my guys know he is that dude. And we got to make sure that he don't beat us. And, unfortunately, he had, for us anyway, that, he had a game out of this world, man. And again, there's nothing that we didn't expect him to do. And we just got to, again, do our job better, shutting down their top athletes.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you, Doc.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
What's up, P? What's going on, buddy?
Not much, Coach. Hey, so talk about Garcia Rodriguez and the confidence that you have in that place kicker, Coach.
Man, he is that, P. He's that dude. As I talk about dude, with Giovanni, he's that guy. And although he missed that one, but again, I will put it in his, because they were trying to get me to go for 4th and 1. I'm like, no, I'm not confident in you guys getting that first down with that 4th and 1. So I felt more confident in him out there, getting that ball through those uprights than going for that 4th down conversion. And again, I would do that all day long with this guy. As long as he's in his field goal range, I would definitely trust him. And he practiced that, in practice, with the wind, without the wind. Like I said, if he with the wind, he can go at least 60, at times.
And Coach, your team has a road victory against an outer conference opponent already in defeating Northwestern. Yeah. You've got Texas A&M Commerce coming in next week. Mm-hmm. Has the conversation in your program shifted to a possible at-large playoff bid here?
No, I mean, we hadn't. We just gotta focus on, game by game. Again, we got to focus on. I now tell my guys when we out there practice, again, just focus on what you need to do first and let everything else take care of itself. Again, we're gonna talk about that in the staff meeting when I get off this phone, this conference call, and and just figure it out again. Just self-scout ourselves, figure out where we can get better at, and again, and just concentrate on. Winning. Again, we always say 1-0, and of course that's all you can do is play one game at a time, one snap at a time, and we got to be able to do better as coaches, getting our top players, our guys in position to make plays, and again that comes down to us coaching these guys. And then again, we'll let everything else take care of itself.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Last question goes to Terry Terrace.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, T.
Hey, just wanted to talk to you a little bit about just the timing of this bye week and how good that is for you guys, and what do you plan to emphasize this week?
Again, just emphasizing getting better, taking care of their responsibility. Again, Terrence, we we killed ourselves, man. Again, every time. I mean, it has yet to fail. Every time we're in position to, make a good play, something happens. Like I said, botched snap here and there, offsides or penalty. Even defensively. Again, we got to be able to be smarter as coaches. Including myself. Again, being able to see it faster. Like if we got one of our guys, on one of their best guys, we got to figure out how to, again, either get out of it, give ourselves a chance, keep those guys in front of us, or make a certain different call. And this is what we're going to be working on all week, the rest of this week, should I say. Again, just getting guys in position, seeing if they know where they need to be, communicating. We still got young guys out there miscommunicated. One kid thought we was in 4, the other kid thought we was in 2. So, those things has to be able to cease, going forward. And as soon as possible, if we want to just try to win this thing out, and come up with a winning season. But again, all week long, it's just about these young men putting themselves in position to make plays in practice and practice only, and try to get better at that. So again, they could see it. I believe I'm more of a big rep guy. The more they see it, the more they understand it. The more they're gonna take it into a game time type situation. So what better way to get better, again, doing those same things out here, at practice. So I instruct these guys, when I go into meeting, I don't want to see anything else other than these guys dropping to their zones, no man coverage or anything. Our biggest deal defensively, again, just dropping to zones and not doing and not looking, not doing what we're supposed to do, as well as, gap responsibility, offensively. Again, we don't, running the right route, and as you guys saw, miscommunication with Jaden and Savage on the one interception, the interception. So, get these guys back, get them ready to go. Keep the positivity going in these young men, and I think we'll be okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, next up, we go over to Southern University and Coach Graves. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Graves with Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, doing good, Coach. Appreciate you. And as always, Coach, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, Coach, start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's most recent outing at Texas Southern.
Yeah. We went to Houston, Texas to take on Texas Southern University. It was a great environment, great weather, great crowd, a lot of energy in the Shell Energy Stadium. Texas Southern, Coach Dishman had those guys fired up, ready to go. We got in there and, we fell behind 14-0 at halftime. And, we went in and reset, and we came out in the second half. We were able to make some plays, and we were fortunate to tie the game up to take it to overtime. And then the guys continued to be resilient and play well, and we were able to pull off the victory, and hats off to our players and our coaching staff for staying focused and staying resilient against a very good and determined Texas Southern football team.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Hey, Coach, have you just resigned yourself to the fact that your team plays better from behind, or did you see anything on the film that may explain the another slow start?
No, we don't play. I wouldn't say that we play better from behind. I just think that we have to continue to push the envelope of what we're doing and how we're doing it to get it going. It's execution. Slow starts. Usually you can point to the lack of execution in order to continue drives and keep the ball moving. You can move the ball up and down the field, and then you wind up, punting or turning the football over. then, you know, that always puts you behind. So we just have to continue to work executing and protecting the football and doing what we need to do to get off to a better start.
And as a follow-up, Xavier T said struggle from his first snap. Was it maybe the visiting venue and against a SWAC team, or was he a little bit rattled?
No, not at all. He was more excited to be playing again. And that's what it was. He was excited. He's a redshirt freshman. Got out there, got excited. He was really, really, really hyped, excited to play. And he learned. He even said it. He said, "Coach, I got to calm down. I'm too excited." And he's like all of them. They have to let the game come to them. And once they do that, they'll be fine. But that's what that was in that case.
Thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Hello, how you doing, Perry?
I'm well. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
Coach, the setting changes and the plot changes, but the ending remains the same. Southern defeats Texas Southern in a close game. Talk about why that is, Coach.
Again, it's hats off to our players. Those guys are resilient. You know, Texas Southern, I mean, they threw it at us. Those guys are fired up. They were really making it. They were going back and forth, and our guys, you know, they knew we were a player here, there, away from having some success, and I think the assistant coaches did a really good job of keeping those guys encouraged and locked in and focused even through the adversity of the game. And you know, I told them at halftime, I say, listen, it's 14-0. I said, what we have to do is we have to go out and we have to execute. Everybody has to do their job and do their job well. We can't worry about anything. Do not look at the scoreboard. And the goal is to win every play. If we win every play, we give ourselves a chance at the end of winning the ball game. And I think that they answered the bell and they did it. And like I said, those guys are resilient. They fought, they stayed together. They lifted one another up. Again, in the adversity of the ball game, they overcame it. So hats off to them.
And Coach, this week, the Alcorn State Braves come in for Southern University homecoming. Talk about this upcoming matchup.
Oh, it's going to be a great game because it's the next game. Of course, it's homecoming. Our players, we already talked about it on the way home Saturday night. You know, homecoming is not for our team. It means it's just what it says. Homecoming. That means people are coming home. So we're already here. So we don't get to enjoy homecoming until after the game. So the goal, but our thing is, it's the next game. It's the next SWAC game on our side against a very good Alcorn State football team. Coach Thomas and his staff has done a really good job of preparing those guys, and those guys are playing well. They have some really good players that do a fine job of executing what they're trying to implement. They take on the demeanor of Coach Thomas. Coach Thomas and I have been friends for a number of years. I respect what he does and how he gets those guys to play. They just had a big win on the road up north. So it's gonna be a challenge, and we got to make sure that we're ready to go to be ready to go on Saturday to give ourselves the best chance of coming out with a W.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing good. Given the recent outing, your team still came out with 10 penalties for over 114 yards. What are some things you're trying to make sure you can implement as far as keeping the discipline at a minimum, as far as with the penalties and stuff?
Well, what I will say is we had no pre-snap penalties, and we moved around. We started a true freshman, a true sophomore, and a junior on our offensive line. So to not have any pre-snap penalties, hats off to those guys. We gave up no sacks. I'm not worried about it. It's definitely not discipline. And I looked at the film. We watched the film. Calls are the calls. 10 penalties. That's what's on paper. So that's that can be misleading. As I told my team, I told my coaching staff, those ones that we looked at and we saw, basically there may be something technically, but I don't agree with all 10 penalties. I voiced that, and that is what it is at this point. We were fortunate to come out with the win. I'm glad my guys continue to play hard and play through some things. And so we'll just keep doing what we do. We address that every week. So we'll continue to do what we do to make sure that we're not penalized when we are penalized.
And then my second question is Kelby Gibbons. He was a madman out there as far as wreaking havoc on the defense. Tell us about Mr. Gibbons and what makes him so special.
His work ethic. I mean, he's special because he works at being special. He doesn't take days off. He doesn't take plays off. He wants to be the best, and he's and he has so much humility, and he respects his teammates. He respects coaching. He respects his opponent. He wants to be great, and he does it in everything that he does. And in the way that he lives, on and off the field. Kelby just does a tremendous job of leading by example. And it's, when you put in the work and when you do what you're supposed to do, then good things happen for you.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Last question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Yeah, Coach, just give me a quick rundown on Xavier Vaughn and the challenge he presents to the Southern defense.
He's a tremendous football player. He's a tremendous football player. We have to make sure that we are doing what we're supposed to do. We got gap integrity, lane integrity, guys' eyes where they're supposed to be. We got to make sure that we execute. We gotta execute the game plan that Coach Miller and the defensive coaches put in place. And you don't ever stop great athletes. You try to contain them and slow them down. So that's going to be the challenge this week.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you. Good luck to everybody.
Appreciate it, Coach. Next up, we go over to Texas Southern University. Coach Dishman. Happy to be
Morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Hey, good morning, Coach. And as always, Coach, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Southern.
Well, I was very pleased the way our defense would play. They came out, had high energy, and played a heck of a game for us. But as a team, you got to have all three phases in order to win. And Southern had all three phases, and so that's why they won.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Mr. Daniels.
Coach, your team seemed very well prepared for Xavier T-Set when he came into the game, getting a pick six on the very first play of the game. What was it that you all saw during the week on film that had you all so prepared for that?
Well, we have some good defensive coaches, first and foremost. We always scour through the film and try to watch for any little tip that we can get on a team. Then we try to scour through the film and try to find that and try to use it as our advantage.
And specifically regarding him, what is it that you saw?
Well, don't we play these guys again next year?
Oh, okay. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough, Coach. I do have another question though. So your team, you openly stated what your three goals were with us. And now one of those goals are in jeopardy in winning the SWAC, which puts the third goal of winning the Celebration Bowl in jeopardy. What is the message to the team now?
We're still alive. We're not dead yet. So don't write us off or don't kill us yet. We're not dead yet. So we're still alive. What we need to do is just go ahead and take care of our business for the rest of the season. And what happens, happens. If we able to accomplish those goals, we are. Then if we're not, we have to set the same three goals for next year and then understand what we have to do for next year. We can't We can't let games be close. We can't go in overtime. We got to be able to put the team out when they're out.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you this week.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Dishman, how you doing today?
Doc, I'm good, and you?
I'm doing good. Your third down efficiency was 1 for 14, basically meaning that you couldn't keep the drive going to extend the drive. What are some things you want to try to do as far as getting that efficiency, that percentage back up to a higher standard?
Well, first of all, we always trying to go 100% if we can on third down to extend the drive. If not 100%, at least 75% to extend the drive. So 1 for 14 is not good. We have practiced third down. We've always practiced third down. Some choices out there was made that shouldn't have been made. So that's coaching. So we have to let our guys understand that 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, we need the first down. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who's open or whatever. Let's get the first down. So we as coaches, as myself as the head coach, have to make sure they understand game situations, game time situations.
And my second question is, you started Jace Wilson for the first time this season. What was the things that you liked about him during this game?
He practiced hard. He practiced hard during the week, so that's why he was able to start. I'm gonna say this again, and I know you guys think I'm full of crap, but the ones who practice during the week, be able to practice hard and be able to show us that they can handle it, they're the ones to start. I have no starters. Jace is still not considered a starter. He considered 111 people out there that's going to be going out there in 2 more weeks, hopefully. Depends on how he practices.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Currently taking questions for Coach Dishman with Texas Southern. Final questions for Coach. Coach Dishman, as always, we appreciate your time, sir. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, Jim. Have a great one.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Jackson State. We're a few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach T.C. Taylor. We're paused just for a brief stint. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for our media participants, if you do have questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time on these calls. Coach, obviously this past week, a bye week for the Tigers program. So if you could just start us out just kind of assessing this past week for your program.
Yeah, it was good to get the bye week. I thought it fell at a good time for us, give us some time, allowed us some time to heal. As a football team, we went out last week, had several great practices, guys moved around, and, we just got some guys away from football after that, to go see family, focus on academics as well as coaches too, as far as coaching staff, we got in here, did some recruiting and everything. So, it was a great week for us. You know, we're looking forward to get back playing some football this week, though.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open it for questions. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
How you doing today, Coach?
I'm good, Doc. How are you?
Doing good. It's the big one this weekend in the vet. What are you trying to tell your team to try to make sure that they stay calm, cool, and collected against FAMU?
Just go out there and be the football team that we are. You know, we don't have to go out here and try to create the wheel or nothing like that. Just be the football team that we're, that we are, play the type of football that we're capable of playing. And, and the little things, just go out here and execute, play well on special teams, don't turn it over, and give us a chance to win this football game, but all of them are important right now. And, this is the next one that's in line for us, Eastern Conference opponent that is returning champs from last year. We all know that this game in the last few years has decided the Eastern Conference or the SWAC championship as well. So big game this week, but we just got to go out here and execute and do the little things.
And my second question is, we talked about, I know we talked about this last week, starting off fast and trying to keep the foot on the gas. What are you trying to get the team to understand about that type of philosophy as far as within the game, and especially against a caliber team like Florida A&M?
Yeah, I mean, we got to protect those leads when we go out here and in those first couple of quarters. We got to figure out ways to protect them, and like you said, continue to score points. That's been a big emphasis, these last few weeks with this football team. I think they're more than capable of getting it done. They understand the assignment. We can't get lax in a situation that we do potentially go up in a football game like this because, FAM has been proven to come back late in games all season long. They're going to play 4 quarters of football, and we got to understand that as a football team.
Appreciate you, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Hey, Coach. Mekhi Hagans of Arkansas Pine Bluff is making his push to be the best quarterback in the conference from St. Louis. I know you have one from St. Louis on your roster. Any chance that we may see McCoy this week?
We'll see. We just still trying to define our game plan for FAMU. Anytime that Cam is on the field, he's an explosive quarterback, got big time speed, big time arm. So, we want to try to see, if we would have any advantages with him on the field. So we'll just continue to, continue with our game planning and make a decision as the week goes.
And this Florida A&M team, not only have they been resilient, but they've been able to put up a lot of points. What's the plan for this offense of FAMU?
First thing first, they're led by a really good quarterback. You got to keep him in the pocket. He does a great job of, avoiding sacks.
It's the last one, baby. I'm sorry.
Of avoiding sacks and, extending plays. Very explosive at the receiver position. They got some guys that can really run. So we just got to get the tackle guys and get them on the turf and get off the field on third down. That's going to be a big emphasis for us. They got some tight ends that can really play, 3 guys that got great size as well, some big running backs. So we got to tackle these guys, get off the field on third down, and give ourselves a chance.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Keith Hadley.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. Still morning. Yeah, still morning where you are. My question is in regards to your secondary, and as you mentioned, FAMU's receivers and tight ends have been a big part of this offense. Do you have any concerns regarding your secondary and their ability to potentially contain some of these athletes that are at the skill positions for Florida A&M?
No, not really. They're a group that's got some age to them. The situation with them is just that, we've been playing with these big leads and, making these offenses that we're facing one-dimensional, and they asked to cover a lot in football games because of the leads we're generating. But I still have total confidence in those guys. A lot of guys have made a lot of plays for us last year as well as this year. So they're going to continue to get better. We'll keep, my confidence is going to stay high with that group over there because, like I said, I know what they're capable of.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Taylor. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Coach, being that Florida A&M is such a good road team, what impressed you most about their win over Alabama State 2 weeks ago?
They just came out and fought for 4 quarters. They found a way to create a turnover towards the end of the game to really seal it. And they did what they had to do. Alabama State is really one-dimensional right now, but they did have a good game against Valley throwing the ball, talking about Alabama State. But they really tried to run the ball against FAM. And FAM just, found ways to take it away and give themselves a chance in the fourth quarter to win that football game. And that's what I was saying earlier. They're last year they won it all. National champs, SWAC champs. There's a team that has great culture there and understands how to win football games. And you're seeing it this year. We can't go out and play the first and second quarter and not show up in the second half against this football team, or we're going to lose the football game. We got to play 4 quarters of football going into this weekend.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in the Magnolia State are well. When you think about this particular game, when you have Jackson State and FAM over the last, let's say, 3 years, this has been a major game in terms of the winner going on to the Celebration Bowl. I know it's early and it's a different season, but just talk about the impact of this game, and it's a beautiful thing in the SWAC.
It is. I mean, and then for it to be, we're allowed to host this game. It'll be here in Jackson, at the Vet. Usually it's down in Miami on that Sunday. But anytime you can get a team like FAMU, a well-coached team by Coach Cozy, I know he'll have those guys ready to go. In the city of Jackson, it's going to be a great day. ESPN has picked it up, ESPNU. It's going to be just a high-energy, high-level football game with great athletes on both sides. I'm hearing that, the scouts, NFL scouts are going to be there in droves. So, you're not going to have a better game day type atmosphere than you're going to see this Saturday, here at the Vet. So I'm excited about it. And it's like you said, we know, the ramifications of this game for the winner and the loser, So, we got to be ready to go in a football game like this. We got to be well-coached, well-disciplined, and be ready to execute in this type of game come Saturday.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
You too.
Last question goes to Keith Hadley.
Thank you. Coach, you have the most prolific offense in HBCU sports, at least according to last week. I hadn't seen an update for this week, but how do you kind of keep that momentum going? We've seen this FAMU defense at times struggle against the run and, maybe some places in the secondary. How do you keep that going into this game against probably 2 of the best defenses in the SWAC?
Yeah, it's just me trusting the coaches that's on that offensive side of the ball and these players. We try to do a good job of putting, getting the ball to our most explosive guys. And then to say that, though, every week we have somebody that steps up. Our offensive line is doing a great job. I'm so proud of all those guys, what Coach Manny has been doing with them. So, and we're out there having fun. Anytime you're scoring points and you're scoring fast, we're having fun. Our defense sometimes don't like it because they're on the field so much, but we're having fun as an offense right now. And that's what we're going to continue to do. We got some great running backs, a couple guys that can play quarterback. Our offensive line is good. Some receivers that can go down the field and catch the ball. It's up to us as coaches to get in here, scheme up these teams that we're playing and try to get our guys in the best situations as possible. And that's what you've been seeing the last few weeks. Well, this season.
Coach Taylor, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all take care.
This concludes our SWAC Football Head Coaches Media Session for Monday, October 14th. Just a reminder, each of these sessions is archived on the SWAC Digital Network. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.